Radio 161, great to make the hook up there, Matt.
Zero about.
Yeah, Matt, J. Juliet Alpha Yankee was my name for your further information.
Hi, this is CBRadioMagazine.com, and we've got the Astatic 600 Paradynamics meter in front of us. We did a review just recently on the Workman 5000P, or a P5000 model. Very similar meter, both made in the same factory, and you can tell from looking at them that they are almost identical with just a couple of small differences. So this meter, very similar to the Workman that we did in our other review. So if you aren't interested in seeing the differences, then probably not a whole lot to watch here, but we'll go ahead and show it to you anyway. SWR meter, power wattage meter here, modulation meter here. This radio has a lamp. You can turn the lamp on and off to turn on the lights in the meters. Your forward and reflect settings here. There's an adjustment to set the SWR. In the middle here we've got our wattage scales, 10, 100, 1000, 5000, and on the actual meter it goes 10, 100, 1000, 5000. So the lower half of this bar is 10 watt scale, upper half is the 100 watt scale, and lower half of the black scale is the 1000 watt, upper half is the 5000 watt. Modulation percentage over here, 0 to 100%. There's a control here for when you're setting your modulation before you check it. You have to set the meter and calibrate it before you can check your modulation. There's a set function here and a modulation setting here. Over here is your average and peak power setting for that. And basically the main differences between this one and the Workman is you'll notice it doesn't have the headphone monitoring feature over here. So that one is not included on this particular model. The other difference is this one has knobs on it that seem to work. As those of you who watched my Workman P5000 model review on this one, the knobs, as you tried to switch the engagement here on the power scale or on these knobs here, the knobs themselves were spinning. They weren't actually working correctly. It wasn't that the switch itself wasn't working, it's just that the knob that was going over top of the switch was sliding around. So the knobs on this one are much better. So if you're looking at this meter compared to the Workman meter, I'm going to have to give this one the nod in terms of function on the knobs. So let's go through and we'll show the features real quick. SWR, first of all, we'll key the radio, we'll put it into our forward position. We need to set it up on the set option here. Once we've done that, we need to click over to reflect and see our SWR showing a just under a 1.1, which is where it should be. So once again, forward, set, using this, you calibrate it to the set position, flip it over for reflect, and there you go. Wattage, you don't have to do anything for calibration on the wattage meter. Currently we should be doing about 10 watts on the radio. This is a RCI 2950DX we've used for all of these, so we're trying to keep everything consistent in our testing. Wattage on the 10 watt scale is showing 6 watts, which is not correct for this radio, so it should be showing a bit more. Tells me that the meter itself from the factory is a little bit out of calibration. If I go to the 100 watt scale, once again upper here it's showing me 6 watts again, so at least it's consistent between the two scales, even if it's not showing the output the way it's supposed to be. On the wattage, I did check it for RMS and peak. The RMS seems to be low on the reading. The peak seems to be fairly consistent with the other meters that I've tested so far. So for that part, if you're trying to read your peak output, then it should be fairly accurate for that. Modulation meter. You dead key the radio, you set it to the setting option, you put it to the set position, and then you flip it over to your modulation. And as you can talk, you can see where the modulation is on the meter. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 audio. So you can see there your modulation percentage. And once again, I mean, these aren't going to be the very best way to measure your modulation. Obviously, if you had the right test equipment, you could see it a little bit better. But most people don't have scopes or other things for that. So, I mean, these work to give you a fairly good idea. Around the back, pretty much I'm not even going to bother showing the back because it's basically the same as the Workman. It's got 2 inputs, antenna and your transmitter inputs on the back for coax, and it has the plug-in I will show you. Guess I will be showing you the back. It does have the plug-in for a adapter here for the DC, AC to DC adapter for a wall wart. This this meter actually comes with the wall wart, so it does have its own power supply included, whereas the Workman came with the wire, but you had to find your own power source for this, meaning you had to have a AC to DC converter to be able to run the lights on that one. Inside of them, the case and everything on the inside, when you look at the meters, they look very, very similar with the boards and everything. The only main difference is going to be the lack of the setup for the monitoring, which would have been over here on this on the Workman. So that monitoring jack isn't there, so it's slightly different on the board, but otherwise the internals on them should be pretty much identical. So that's the Astatic 600 from Paradynamics. This meter, once again, after looking at the Dozy and some of the other ones that we're testing right now, it's for its price range for $100, it's okay. You can probably do better. A lot of people have these, they're happy with them, you know, for SWR checking, giving you a general idea on wattage modulation. They do absolutely fine for that. And even the Workman with the knobs falling off, the meter itself did fairly well for all of those things. So generally speaking, for most people, they'll do what they need to do. If you're looking for more accuracy, you might be better off moving up to the Dozy, or there's some other meters that we'll be going in to show you that'll have a little more accuracy in some of our later videos and reviews. So hopefully you enjoyed this one, just a quickie, and we've got a couple more meters coming up and some other reviews to show you. So we'll try and get those done and uploaded to YouTube and up on our website.